Hi, and welcome everyone to another edition of the FTW podcast. FTW is a weekly WWE and TNA discussion where fans talk the wrestling world in all of its laughable glory. This is episode 222, recorded live on July 8th, 2014 on FTWLive.com. Tonight we take a look at the first 6 months of 2014 and try to decide if there was a moment of the year yet. And is Battleground actually shaping up to be a pretty good pay-per-view? And how do we like Angle's run so far as TNA's new Director of Wrestling Operations? With us tonight is Nick. Say hello, Nick.
What's up?
Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Hello.
Harrison.
Hey.
Just letting that sink in. My name is Garvin. I'll be moderating tonight's conversation if you're listening live, and make sure to say hi. Leave your feedback in the comments. We'll bring in those comments from everyone, except for John Harris, of course. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave a like. Those are very nice. So like you heard in the opener, we're at the halfway point of 2014. So what do you think? If anything, is there anything out there that has happened so far in 2014 that you would consider either the match of the year or the moment of the year so far? If you have an opinion on that, leave a comment wherever you're listening, and if you're on Twitter, use the hashtag FTWLive. Let's run right into TNA. Angle. Kurt Angle is now your Director of Wrestling Operations as of last week. He started off Impact this week by booking 3 title matches and a tables match between EC3 and Bully Ray. We also got to see Kenny King versus Bobby Roode in a street fight. Do you think this is too much for an Impact, Nick? 3 title matches, 2 grudge matches?
If it's being done in one go, I don't think so. I think you can get away with that every now and again. But every title is on the line again next week. So I don't know if this is going to become a regular thing. And if it does, it does kind of devalue the title match because, I mean, what are you watching Destination X or Bound for Glory for if not the title matches that only come along once in a while? Having a fighting champ like EY is one thing because it's its own gimmick. It stands by itself. But just having all the titles defended every week, week in and week out, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing because obviously we're getting great wrestling every night, most of the time. But yeah, like I said, it does kind of devalue things a little bit.
Yeah, and there's no way we can totally complain about. I mean, they were good matches. 3 title matches is still a good thing, despite it being at a regular Impact, at a taped Impact. A lot of these results were online, so it is kind of rough, especially because it does seem like we're getting these title matches frequently. But there is no 4 pay. I mean, there's your 4 big pay-per-views a year. That's about it. I guess my thing is we know Destination X is coming up, and if you have an Impact like this, 2 weeks theoretically. I mean, we don't necessarily know when Destination X is actually going to happen, but theoretically, 2 weeks before Destination X, you have all of the titles on the line. You have all of these big matches. I almost feel like this is bad just for the build to Destination X. It almost feels like Destination X isn't as important.
Right, and I think they're relying on the gimmick of the X Division champion trading in his title for a world title shot. I think they're relying on that gimmick a little too much to elevate the event above your average Impact.
I could totally agree with you, Nick. I think that's part of the problem, though, when they got rid of pay-per-views, is that it's hard for them to really get anybody excited anymore for those types of events. And I just don't think they give a shit anymore. Like, in the aspect that they don't care because it's still another 2-hour slot. It's not really bringing them any more income. You know, it's not like they're getting a pay-per-view buy out of it.
Yeah, I mean, financially, probably not great, but I mean, it does make Impact, must watch because you never know when they're going to have a title match or when they're going to have 3 title matches. So I guess on one hand, yeah, it could look bad because it's not producing those pay-per-view buys. It's obviously not. It's not selling tickets because the show was recorded a month ago. But I mean, it does make I think it's still good for the fans, though.
It can be, as long as the fans can get excited for it and not think, "Oh, great, it's just that extra special episode of Moesha again." Not to dredge that entire thing back up, but it's really got to stand out and make it a reason to watch, other than just the name. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, and I can see that, but I mean, like coming from my perspective, going into Impact with as fresh of a mind as possible, just because of everything we talked about last week about TNA. But once it was announced that all of these matches were happening, I mean that to me it got me excited because for that that hour or two watching Impact, I forgot that I read some of these results before. So it was nice. It was, to me, that made a good show. They can't do that every single week, though. They can't continue to have all of these big matches and all of these gimmick matches, these grudge matches all the time. But I do think that this can be good for the general fan base. I don't know if it's going to attract new viewers, though.
And for me, that's the crux of the issue, is the fact that I really don't see a lot of draw here for like the casual WWE fan to tune in for just this reason. And my thing about the, well, I don't want to call it TNA's Money in the Bank, but that's kind of what the X Division title is. The fact that it is a title, I feel like should make it seem bigger than the Money in the Bank briefcase, and you just don't get that by watching it. I mean, you don't get it that it has the same kind of gravitas that the fact of Mr. Money in the Bank has. And I don't know, maybe it's just because you can win the X Division title without being at a special pay-per-view, that you could have the X Division title more than once a year. I don't know what the issue is, but I don't know, I just feel like it should be a bigger deal.
You can only cash it in at one point.
Yeah.
Where Money in the Bank, that's anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
It's got that more surprise factor to it.
And the thing I like about the Money in the Bank briefcase, and I've always liked about it, is that it instantly elevates any particular talent to the main event and allows them to have somebody in the main event title picture without having to commit them to a title run. So you can have somebody like Seth Rollins trying things out with John Cena and know, you know what, if the fans aren't getting behind this, we just have him cash in the briefcase and just walk away from it. Or he can just lose the briefcase. We have that out. Whereas with this, the X Division title, you just don't get that.
Oh, that's
well, you kind of have that because Austin Aries, that's exactly what that did for him.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, since we're drawing the comparison, at the same time, I mean, like with Austin Aries, when he did that before, you knew Austin Aries, you knew how good he was, and you wanted to see him fight in the world title race. Right now, you've got Sonata, and we really haven't seen a whole lot of Sonata outside of like X Division Championship matches, but those have been sort of rare as far as seeing him on TV. So, I don't necessarily want to see Sonata, but as far as cashing in the title, option C to go for the world title, there's no one else in the X Division I want to see outside of Austin Aries who isn't technically in the X Division division,
Yeah.
So it is kind of a gamble, and this, and let's, I suppose we can move on from this topic because Austin Aries versus Sonata, that has been actually booked for next week for the X Division Championship. This is Austin Aries' his rematch, finally using his rematch clause from a year ago. So winner takes title, gets the opportunity to cash in option C if they choose so at Destination X. to me, this is almost setting up for an Austin Aries run, and it really shouldn't feel that obvious. It would, to me, to make this special, they should have done what they did last time with Austin Aries, which is defeat all of those guys and really make a name for himself. I don't think Sonata has done that yet.
I don't think it's become entirely obvious that it's spelling out an Aries win, because we do have a little bit of development going on with Sonata. It didn't happen this past week, but the week before, immediately after his title match, the Fatal 4-Way, you had Storm kind of getting in his head a little bit. And where that'll go, I mean, could end up with Sonata turning heel at some point. And you got to imagine a Great Muta is coming back at some point, either in New York or when they go to Japan. At some point, I imagine they're gonna either encounter each other, butt heads, what have you. So there's a few different directions you could go with this.
Just a quick note from the live chat. It is being pointed out Chris Sabin was the other guy to use the option C. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
And I think that was a prime example of how not to do option C. I think while there was that glimmer of hope that Chris Sabin was going to do something cool, it just really never came to that. Yeah, and I'm fearful that if they do move forward with Sonata cashing in at Destination X, I think he's going to run in the same boat. I just don't think he's at that level yet. He's definitely not at the level of Austin Aries.
Well, I disagree with you. Remember that match he had with AJ Styles back when AJ was still in the company? And he was defending his title all around the world. I watched that match, and it was a great match.
We're talking AJ Styles versus Sonata?
Yeah. It was easily on the same level as anything you could see in TNA. We don't get that right now because Sonata is not on TV all that much, and he's either wrestling DJZ or Crazy Steve. He's not wrestling heavyweight contenders.
Sure.
And I very much think that he's on that level.
Yeah, but we are seeing Austin Aries on TV every week. That's why to me it feels like that's what they're building up to, an Austin Aries win here to put himself back into the title race, basically.
How terrible would that be?
Not terrible.
No, exactly.
No?
I mean, I don't see a reason why that's such a bad thing. I mean, or am I just misreading your tone?
No, no, I don't think you're misreading my tone. I'm saying that I think it would be good for Austin Aries to win. That's the direction I would like them to go in. I think Austin Aries in that title race makes a lot of sense, and I think would get over. It's over for me. Sonata, though, on the other hand, is the opposite. I don't see Sonata being credible in that. I see him being similar to Chris Sabin, where it just, he's a good wrestler, but he doesn't quite belong in that top tier.
Well, don't forget that you don't have to cash in the title. You can refuse that.
Sure. So do you see? So that's an option. Do you see that playing out that way?
I would hope so in either event, whether it's Sonata or Aries that wins the title and is champ by the time Destination X rolls around. Because you don't need Aries utilizing option C for a third time since the 3 times it has been in existence. You don't need Aries just completely dominating that. He set up option C so that other people, other X Division champions, could take advantage of that. So he doesn't need to keep coming back to that. If he's going to be in the world title picture, he needs to get in there on his own merit, not through some gimmick.
But who's also to say that this is going to be the time where someone cashes in option C and they're not successful?
That could happen. If that's going to happen, I would think that Sonata would be the one to do that, because that way you get the point in time where it's proven that option C isn't a surefire thing, and you also manage to avoid damaging or potentially damaging one of your own talents. Like, obviously Sonata's Wrestle 1 talent, not TNA talent, so it wouldn't hurt him that much since he's not going to be around much longer anyway.
Hmm. Spoilers?
I haven't read any spoilers.
But I think he just signed a new contract with TNA like this week.
Oh, did he?
I could be wrong, but I think Sonata's in for a while. So someone do that research. But I mean, for me, I'm almost the opposite with you, Nick. I feel like Sonata cashing in and losing would hurt Sonata, and we really need to see Sonata succeed to be credible. I mean, like you said before, we don't necessarily see Sonata on TV all the time. When we do see him on TV, he's fighting against one of the bromans, or he's fighting Crazy Steve. That's not really good enough to make him important. Austin Aries, on the other hand, if Austin Aries were to lose, I don't think that would necessarily damage Austin Aries because we know he's good enough and we know he's over enough to stay in the title picture regardless of the outcome of that match. Sonata, if he loses, what is there for him to do other than crawl back to the X division and try again there?
According to the Talk TNA podcast, Sonata did sign yesterday. That news is coming from Russell One.
Okay.
And that's why I'm hoping that they don't cash in at all, because it doesn't help anybody in the X division right now. There's nobody else being built up to that heavyweight contender level, and Aries and Sonata are really the only two that I could see operating at that level right now. Kenny King, maybe we did have that street fight with Rude, and he looked good in that one, but I mean, nobody's really being built up to that level. There's nobody being positioned for a main event title run. So, yeah, I just really hope that whoever wins the title of Destination Next just holds on to that.
Okay. Speaking of holding on to titles, Angelina Love did not. She lost to Gail Kim. Gail Kim is once again your Knockouts champion. There is not a single negative thing that we can take from this, right?
Nope.
This is perfect, right?
This is awesome. Fuck Angelina Love, stupid bitch.
Whoa!
Alrighty then.
I almost killed Garvin.
I've
gone on record many times. I am not an Angelina Love fan.
Yeah,
I don't see the talent.
I could see the talent last time. Not when she was doing the thing with Winter, but like right before that, when she was somewhat relevant and credible. But this whole run that she has done with Velvet Sky, I'm totally sour on Velvet Sky. I have been for almost 2 years now. I don't like this combo. I think Angelina Love could do well, but I think them trying to bring back the Beautiful People and try to try to regain all of those good vibes that we were getting back the last time Beautiful People were together. I don't know. I think it's failed. I think this whole thing has failed. The only negative I can take from the Gail Kim win. Who does she face? Who else is it really in that division right now outside of Taryn Terrell? You know, we didn't see Taryn Terrell yet, but outside Taryn Terrell, who else is really in that division that you're looking forward to seeing compete for the title?
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Brooke Tessmacher come back and make a serious run at things. Because she was developing into a pretty good wrestler by the time she took her hiatus and then came back as Bully's main squeeze.
Yeah, she did. I think I think they're giving her some time off to help refresh her character because I mean that way they don't have to worry about a transition as much.
Well, she did come back briefly for one night to have that like interview thing with EC3.
Yeah, she buried the hatchet with Bully.
That's true.
So, yeah, right now Tessmacher and Robbie E are doing. I can't remember if they're doing Amazing Race now or if it's already happened, but
they finished it already.
Okay. I'll have to watch that. See who the on-screen character translates any.
Well, at least we know she'll come back around when that starts to air so that she can promote it.
That's true.
Good point.
So yeah, I would be okay with Tessmacher, which again is something that we probably wouldn't have said 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think her last run before Aces and Eights, I think she was looking pretty good in the ring. So yeah, that's definitely a good idea. Madison Rayne is probably the other top option as far as who's on the roster right now. But considering Madison Rayne is now feuding with Brittany, I don't know. I don't. I just can't see like who else is going to fit in. They probably will push Velvet Sky on us again, or Angelina Love, keep them going after the title. But honestly, I don't want to see anyone else compete against Gail Kim unless they bring in some actual talent.
Yeah, and they keep promising and hinting at new additions being made to the roster, which, with Brittany coming in recently, I think we're past a point where it's just a rumor. It just remains to be seen who is going to come in and when that's going to happen, I think.
Yeah, and another name that's being thrown out in live chat, ODB obviously is a quality name that for sure I think we would all love to see ODB get some quality time.
God, it's been forever since she's been in a match.
Yeah. Oh well. So all right, let's move on from that. Samoa Joe at the top of the show delivered a really good promo. I think it was probably one of his best promos in a while. Just so much emotion, so much energy. It really showed that he was motivated to get back into that title race. Unfortunately, how many of these are we going to see before something actually happens? So, do you guys think that they'll finally deliver something productive for Samoa Joe this time around?
If they dump his contract, I'm tired of being teased about Samoa Joe. I mean, every time he comes back and he gives that promo, and he's all excited, he's ready to go, he's rared up, fired up. He wins a couple matches and then he tanks every freaking time. I am so sick of just the burial. I don't think they're going to do anything with him. I really don't.
All the pieces are in place right now. But I can't think of anybody.
How many times have we said that? How many times?
That's true, but
How many times are we talking about Samoa Joe?
It's a natural match. Lashley versus Joe.
Yeah.
It's two guys that have movesets revolving around the MMA world. Lashley still does MMA. Joe does it like casually for training purposes. It's a natural feud, and I don't think TNA's stupid enough to let that go by the wayside.
No.
On the other hand, you've also got, EY could possibly come back, even though things happen this week that make that seem like it might be over, but he's still kind of close to that. And you also have to factor in Rude. Rude's talking about making another push for the title, and I wouldn't say no to that either.
I'm just saying, if you're going to go with the Lashley-Joe feud, that'll be a good feud. The problem with that, though, is you really need to elevate Lashley, not so much Joe, because Lashley's the newer character. Lashley's the guy that's not had a history with the TNA audience, outside of like one very short, useless run, and then now.
I don't think you have to sacrifice Joe for that to happen, though, because
they're
Lashley's
totally going to
undefeated
sacrifice Joe.
Well, Lashley's undefeated against EY, who's not only been the champion for a while, but he's also a fan favorite. He's been in TNA even longer than Joe, I think. So if you gotta throw somebody to the wolves, EY has already been thrown that way.
Well, we're not talking about the wolves right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about Samoa Joe.
Okay.
I like that Garvin and I were both right on top of that one.
Yeah, real quick. I mean, Nick, you started to say all of the pieces are falling into place for Joe to finally get that run. And the last time that I think that we said that and it felt like it was a real possibility was the last time he was here, before EY got the title. It really seemed like they were pushing for Samoa Joe run, but then he had to take his time off for whatever that was, some kind of family issue, or it really wasn't said. It wasn't confirmed what he took time off. If he didn't take that time off, I think he would have been champion instead of EY. So I think, again, speculation, Monday morning quarterback type of stuff. This is the time that they have to give Samoa Joe. If they don't give Samoa Joe this opportunity and the push that we all think that he has earned, I don't know when would ever be a good time, because he can't have a lot of years left on the tank. So if they don't take the opportunity now, I don't see him ever having the title.
Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be like that'd be a huge waste because he is a Grand Slam champ. But yeah, it obviously would be nice to see him holding the belt again.
So, and real quick, I mean, Samoa Joe is 35. So say he's got maybe 2 years left in TNA. I don't know, but he is being followed by Triple H on Twitter. I don't know if you guys read that.
Yeah,
I did see something about
who
that.
pointed that out? Was that John Canton?
I think so.
Yeah. And he only follows 18 people, so...
It's got to mean something, guys. All right, so we were dropping names as far as who's like in the title race, in the main title race. So we've got EY, we've got Lashley, we've got Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode. Most likely we'll have MVP back in there at some point as soon as he's healthy. So, what do you guys think Kenny King sits on that list? Do you think at any point that they'll push Kenny King towards the title, say in the next 3 to 4 months?
I don't think so. Even within the little faction, Lashley and MVP are worlds above Kenny King in terms of heavyweight credibility. I think it'd be a little different if King was a little more accomplished by this point. If he's had a couple runs as X Division champion, or if he's been a little more high profile. But
yeah, but whose
Kenny
fault
King
is that?
Obviously, that's bookings. That's bookings responsibility. But I mean, regardless of whose fault it is, King's nowhere near ready for a title race. Not when you've already got those other guys involved.
I think we all had pretty high hopes for Kenny King. Is it just me, or is he not fitting the expectation that we had?
Not with his on-screen actions right now, no.
Not right now. I think he's got the talent to do it. I just don't think they have the right spot for him in order to excel. Right now he's a lackey, and I think Kenny King would do better if he were out on his own in that heel role. Putting him in this faction, he obviously is the low man on the totem pole. All he is a mouthpiece that MVP's got to rein in, and Lashley's going to beat the crap out of anybody who's going to take an action because of his mouth. So I think he's being hindered that way.
Yeah, I wish these factions would form, whether it be it MVP's crew or Aces and Eights or Immortal or what have you. I wish they would take these guys like Kenny King and put them in the obvious role of locking down the X Division for that faction. Why they're not being used that way it just blows my mind. It's such a huge waste. And obviously Kenny King is a huge contender for the X Division title. I don't think any of us would have a problem with that.
No, he should. He should be an X Division contender. He's got the talent for it. He's had the talent for it. They just don't have the screen time.
Got buried by fucking No Job Rob on his way out.
But he did have a good match against Bobby Roode.
He did
this week. So, yeah, I don't know. I think there is a place for Kenny King. I think X Division makes more sense. I'd much rather see him there. And yeah, you guys are right. I mean, I never understood the authority type storyline. For some reason, they always like target one title, and that's it. Instead of like going after the big picture and going after everything. I think that would make a much more epic stable to have multiple title holders in it. But whatever. Real quick, Rhino's back. Are you excited?
It could be interesting.
Gore. Oh, he's out.
Yeah, I don't think it's a game changer or anything. But it's interesting.
I'm not interested. All right, so TNA officially deactivated the TV Championship. Do you think they made the right decision, or was this another missed opportunity?
This is totally a missed opportunity. No, this is the right decision. They don't
Oh,
have.
yeah, it is.
They haven't done anything with that damn thing in ages. I mean, when's the last time they actually did anything with it? Is that when Devon had it?
Abyss won.
And took it into the abyss.
Yeah.
You'll find a guy, Dr. Jones.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I almost think it's a missed opportunity because you're right. They haven't done anything with it. They haven't done anything with it for a long time. But that doesn't mean that they couldn't have done something with it. I think, seeing and talking about different groups of people that we would really like to see have an opportunity on TV, whether that's Impact or whether that's Explosion. I think there is a place for the television championship, but knowing that they can't get the X Division championship on TV every week, or the tag team championships, or the knockouts championship, there was no room. This was probably the right decision. But real quick,
it needs to be rebranded if it's being brought back, because the TV championship, obviously, that entails that it's going to be on TV. Yeah. Whether it's defended or not, it needs to make appearances, and that hasn't happened for 2 years.
Yes.
So I think this is a move to just bury the title for a little while before they bring it back as, be it the Legends title or the Global title, or if they want to put a new name on it.
And if they're going, I mean, even if they bring it back to TV title, only defend it on TV. Don't do it at pay-per-views.
Makes sense. However, we are in that weird period where people are thinking, maybe a TV title doesn't make sense. Maybe an internet title makes more sense. Something that is only defended on YouTube or something. So, I mean, there's that possibility as well. But real quick, Abyss had the title.
One thing. Can we take this clip and save it for when a year from now we talk about how TNA is rumored to be bringing back the TV title and that everybody's saying this is what's going to be saving the company? To go with
when they bring back the 12-sided ring?
Yeah.
The
dodecahedron ring.
I don't think anyone will ever say the TV title will save the company.
All right, mark it here. Garvin said it. All I got to do is find one idiot to say on this show that that's what it'll do it, and we'll just have to go back and go, Garvin, remember back and.
You know what? I will say the TV championship will save the company. Why? Because I said Zack Ryder was the future of the WWE.
Abyss held the title for over a year, 396 days. Before that, believe it or not, and this cannot be right, but according to Wikipedia, it's right. Devon held the title for 574 days.
Consecutive days?
No.
That's what this says.
Combined, maybe, but not consecutive.
No. Yeah, this is what it says. It's consecutive. All right, do this math for me. December 6th, 2012. Yeah, that can't be right. That can't be right. Math. Yeah, because it's December 6th, 2012 to June 2nd, 2013. That's not 574 days. You lie. Okay. Anyway.
So the guy who brought it to the show's attention in the first place? Fact check, motherfucker.
God damn it.
This is why we can't use Wikipedia for any serious scholarly pursuit.
All right.
Like this podcast.
Well, anyways, so we're going to end the TNA conversation with a little bit of sad news. There was a retirement this week. Actually, two retirements. We're going to talk about both retirements. And one, on the TNA side, we had Petey Williams announced his retirement. On the WWE side, Santino Marella has retired from in-ring action. So most likely he'll stay with WWE for a little bit longer, do backstage stuff. Who knows? But he is also technically retired from wrestling. So which announcement are you guys most disappointed with? Joe?
I'm going to say the Petey Williams. After watching that guy have several matches, he's just an amazing talent that I don't think ever got. I mean, yes, he was in TNA. I think he did some Ring of Honor stints and whatnot, but he's a guy who never got to the level that he should have. Santino, he got to the WWE. He was an Intercontinental Champion, and a Women's Champion or Divas Champion, one of the two. He's managed to get up there. Maybe not in the ways we wanted him to, but he's been on the top. And we never saw Petey get to the very top when he should have. So I'm going to say Petey Williams.
Yeah,
Nick?
I agree with that. Petey Williams obviously going to be missed more because Santino's only retiring from in-ring competition, but he'll probably have some on-screen role, be it a manager or something like that. Like Joe said, Petey Williams never really got to the level that he definitely deserved to be at, and that's just because of who else he was competing with at the time, be that AJ Styles or whoever else was in the X Division at the time, and it was stacked with talent. So obviously some people are going to get lost in the shuffle. I don't want to throw the phrase too soon at this because I'm not exactly sure how old he is, but it's going to be a shame not seeing him in the ring anymore.
Petey Williams is 32.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's that. Even then, he's young. It's got to be injuries building up, or it's just not a lucrative thing for him anymore. I don't know, but I'm bummed. And if anybody listening wanted to see a little bit more of Petey Williams, Garv and I did attend a Clash. There we go. Wrestling show, and there's video on our YouTube channel. youtube.com/the FTW podcast, and you can see some Petey Williams footage up in there. So go check it out because it's pretty freaking awesome.
Harrison, what about you?
Petey Williams, only because the problem I have with the Santino Marella was always kind of a disappointment because he was incredibly talented, but you never got to see it. He was always the jokey, kind of weird foreign guy. He was the who was the dude from Perfect Strangers?
Belky.
He was the Belky of the WWE. He was kind of weird, kind of foreign, and kind of off. So that's what he did. He played that character, and he was so much better than that. The dude was like a legit. He was a black belt in something, wasn't he? Like jiu-jitsu or something?
He's got a school. He's got an
MMA school.
So, exactly. So the guy is legit, but you never got to see that in the ring. I mean, you saw bits and little pieces of it here, but he always was like I got a hand, or I got a snake puppet that gets charmed for some god-awful reason. Anyway.
I'm a black belt in Marella martial arts.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it was that one, but it wasn't it wasn't that he was disappointing because he's retired. For me, he was disappointing because his career could have been so much more powerful than it was. So for that way, I'm just defaulting to Petey Williams. I've never really been a huge fan of Petey Williams. I always thought he was kind of good, but he could be better. But I can't believe he's that old, though. He doesn't seem that old.
32, man. 32.
32 is not that old, guys.
So you're older than I am. It's kind of scary when I think about it. He's retiring at 32. Jesus.
You that lucky bastard. I hope
not from all types of employment here, or just wrestling.
Yeah, he's still gonna be working when he's like 80 just to catch up on things he missed from
Oh,
wrestling.
damn it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, they're both disappointing. Santino was a guy that made it easy to pop for a Joe character. Like every time it looked like he was about to do something like awesome, I would mark out Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber. Man, I could get behind that guy every single time. Petey Williams, on the other hand, like Joe said, we got to see him at Clash Wrestling. He was champion there, and the guy put on great matches. Even for indie matches, they were really good matches every time. So, yeah, I really enjoyed seeing him the most. I think, I can't even tell you if I've ever actually seen a Santino match, like in person. I've seen Petey Williams matches in person. The guy is phenomenal. It's a shame that like you guys said, that he never reached the level that he probably could have. So hopefully he's just retiring because of good reasons, not because like Santino. Santino unfortunately has the neck injury. He's gonna probably have to have another surgery. And why live the rest of your life, hurt? So I don't know. I think both are majorly disappointing because they're both incredibly talented and were always over with the crowd. All right. With that, let's jump into WWE. Real quick note as we start off. One thing I noticed this week, and I probably should have noticed this 2-3 weeks ago, but do you guys realize that WWE is featuring 4 different stories, 4 different feuds with 8 different divas?
Okay, before you get into that, the Funkadactyls, though, I mean, that's kind of more about...
Funky's on a roll.
That's more about Total Divas, right? I mean, that's not really happening. We're seeing the fallout on WWE programming, but for the most part, that's happening on Total Divas.
I don't know, Nick. You watch. You
yeah,
tell us.
Nick, tell us. Is that true?
Not so much. There's been like rumblings, like it's no, that's not really the case.
Okay.
You get a little bit, but not really.
Fair enough.
Thanks for that, Harrison. Your wrong
Screw
point.
you guys.
Maybe you should check to Wikipedia with that one. So, but yeah, no, I think we've seen most of that feud on TV as far as on Raw, and that's really all I watch. So, that's all I'm aware of it. And so, okay, so we got that. We got the Funkadactyls breakup, which technically officially happened this week. We've also got the whole Brie, Nikki, Bella situation against Stephanie McMahon. Who knows what that's leading to? A lot of rumors that we're going to see a match, probably Brie versus Stephanie McMahon at SummerSlam. I hope not, but we might see that. AJ versus Paige for the title, which is a pretty good feud. Then we've also got Layla versus Summer Rae, because Fandango reasons, I guess. And then we can't all. I mean, we also have to remember Alicia Fox is in there too. So there's at least 9-10 divas right now that are getting featured time every week. Do you like this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good step in convincing the WWE universe that Divas match is not synonymous with bathroom break. I'm sure it's kind of a mixed bag because on the one hand you got AJ versus Paige, and Naomi versus Cameron could go somewhere, and the Bellas versus the Authority could also go somewhere. On the other hand, you got Layla versus Summer Rae, which by themselves that would be a pretty good feud, but because you're throwing in this awkward love triangle thing, it's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you On the whole, I think the positives are outweighing the negatives. And you could say what you will about the quality of the individual stories, but the fact these stories are happening at all is a step up. And you also can't ignore what's going on down in NXT with the whole BFFs angle, the way they're splitting up and going at it. You've also got Natalya trying to facilitate this heel turn in Tyson Kidd, whether it's intentional or not. The Divas are finally being used in a way that's proper, for lack of a better word. It's not anymore the Attitude Era bullshit or the bikini battle royales, or you still get a little bit of that, as we saw with Vicky Guerrero going into the pool of whatever that was. But I think, yeah, I think we're finally starting to move past that point into something that you might see in Shimmer or in Shine, where women's wrestling is being valued for wrestling.
Right. And real quick, Nick, I mean, you say, as far as the Layla and Summer Rae bit, it's unfortunate that feud has to do with some kind of love triangle thing, but at least this time around, because I think we'll always have something like that. That's just the nature of the beast. It's that's life. But at least not every story is that, because that's usually what we get is every single diva is involved in some kind of love triangle crap. So yeah,
that's true.
Joe, what do you think?
I like the fact that they're actually using the divas. I mean, we got a bit of it with Paige. We had it initially with AJ, and then she had no one to feud with. We're actually seeing wrestling coming up in the Divas division, more so like you guys said, with Shimmer or anywhere else that's not the WWE, not Prime television type wrestling. Prime is in like TNA and WWE, not Prime that's no longer
mainstream.
Yeah, the mainstream shit. So yeah, I'm glad to see it. I'm not hip on the Funkadactyls breakup storyline thing. It's just that one seems a little weak, but it is what it is. Because one of them's not going to be on the roster much longer. I don't know which one. I'd assume it's Blonde, since I never knew which one's which.
Cameron is the blonde-ish one.
See, and I thought it was the other way around. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't care for the character that she's playing, so that kind of hurts my interest in it. But AJ versus Paige, I mean, where they're kind of being friendly with each other, I can't wait to see that one blow up. I like the competition that's going to erupt from that. Layla versus Summer Rae, dry and bland and whatever. But hopefully we'll get some decent wrestling at it. Layla's an okay wrestler. She's not my favorite. She's never been my favorite diva. When she was part of the when it was Lay Cool, I thought she was definitely the weak link. But I know she can wrestle, so maybe she'll get some good work in with Summer Rae, and both can elevate their games. And then the Bellas, whatever. Bellas.
Yeah. Bellas. Harrison, what do you think?
I like all the storylines, despite the fact that apparently none of them are happening on Total Divas, apparently. The only thing I don't like about it, and the only complaint I have, is AJ versus Paige. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, in that this is kind of being, this has the potential to be a massively awesome feud, and I'm just waiting for the afterburners to turn on. And I feel like the longer that they wait before doing that, and the more they kind of dance around it and tease and be kind of cute with it, I'm worried the worse off it's going to be. Or the worse off it's going to end up. And for me, this feud it has so much amazing potential to it that I'm like, okay, look, it was good when Paige first got in. She has built a character. She's kind of got the crowd around her a little bit. She's getting comfortable in the WWE spotlight. AJ's coming back, and I cannot believe the crowd is still chanting CM Punk, but that's what's happening. This feud could be amazing, and I worry that they're kind of taking too long teasing it, and at the same time, I also realize it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the fear. There's always the fear that WWE will ruin it, as in they won't do what we want them to do. That they'll take this a totally different direction, or they'll move Paige into like that sub role, or they'll put her back on NXT, or this won't go where we all think it needs to go, which is a back and forth feud for the title. These are the two that we want to see fight for it. Maybe throw Naomi in here and there, but that's the match that we want to see, is AJ versus Paige. And if we don't get it by SummerSlam, there's going to be a lot of disgruntled fans, for sure. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm happy about this. It does feel like WWE has finally figured out how to give the Divas an adequate amount of time and provide them with compelling stories. It's been so long where all we got was the Layla versus Summer Rae stuff, or it was love triangle stuff that really didn't make sense, or no one could really get into because it was dumb. This is all kind of cool. Funkadactyls are fighting because Naomi is looking like an adequate wrestler, and Cameron can't. Is jealous of that. AJ versus Paige, obviously, good feuds should come from that. Layla versus Summer Rae. I mean, there is still some good matches that could happen. Summer Rae is a quality wrestler from everything that we've been able to see so far. So hopefully they continue to push that. Once Emma gets back in, I hope Emma gets involved in one of these feuds, because I think she could do pretty well. And yeah, like you said, Nick, everything they're doing in NXT. It seems like this is the direction they're going to go. Quality feuds, quality wrestling matches as well. So yeah, hopefully this continues, but we'll see. All right. So we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks. This is the rumor going around Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar was on the SummerSlam poster with John Cena. That means that we're going to get Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at SummerSlam. I don't know. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, is anybody else pissed that Lee isn't on right now for this one? Because I saw it was on here, and I got so excited, and I realized that Lee was going to be on the show, and I was like, man, talk about a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, pay-per-view posters never mean anything. Like, they always highlight. I mean, we'll surely get something with Brock Lesnar and John Cena. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the match that we're going to get, but like we got R-Truth on one of those posters, and everyone was like, oh, maybe they're finally going to push R-Truth, and then nothing happened.
I'm trying to remember which pay-per-view. Yeah, it's insane. But
what's the only thing we got out of that? It was did that image of him laughing with Vince? Is that the only thing that came out of that?
Maybe it was around the same time.
We got some amazing Hell in a Cell promos from it.
Yeah, that too. I don't know. So, anyways,
gotta push.
Anyways, Brock Lesnar title match. That's what everyone is suggesting will happen. Who knows if it will happen? But is a Brock Lesnar title match, especially against Cena, what is needed now? Or is there someone else on the roster that you guys think can handle the pressure in the spotlight at SummerSlam against whomever is the champion at the time? Maybe Cena.
Damian Sandhart.
Sandhart. Ooh. That's a good name.
I mean, he is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. No? Okay. Yeah.
I'm totally with you, Joe. Totally with you.
I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, you don't really have anybody in the face role. Not at the moment. That could live up to.
Well, you need somebody in the heel role.
Oh, right, because Cena's I'm still on the dealing with Brock Lesnar bit. I mean, you could stick anybody in that role, really. I mean, you've got Orton already. You've got. I mean, granted, we've already seen that a billion times, but it's there. It's doable.
Kane versus Cena is technically doable.
An ambulance match? Oh, please let it be an ambulance match.
Oh, man, there we go. All right, well, here's two names for you guys. The first name, Roman Reigns. Why not throw Roman Reigns in there at SummerSlam? You know, we finally got to see. Well, let's talk about Raw. I mean, we finally got to see Roman Reigns carry a promo. He led off the show. How did you think he did in that role?
He did phenomenal.
Until he slammed Cena, it sucked. And granted, it was right at the beginning, but he just, outside of that, it was an okay promo. For the fact that it was like his first real one that he carried, it was pretty phenomenal. But in the grand scheme of things, the fact that he's in the main event and going up against Cena, it was an okay promo. And you could tell that up until that moment, it was gonna. I don't know. I was completely unimpressed until he slammed Cena.
Joe?
Boom, end show.
No, I just hoping you were going to make more of a point.
Ouch.
Because I like hearing you
Kitty's
talk,
very
Harrison.
close tonight.
No, I like hearing you talk. This is the only time you're going to hear me say that too. I think he did a good job, especially because he hasn't had many promos solo. So I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I mean, it's something that's a skill that's gonna come over time. So it's not like we have to, not like we're expecting like the world right now. Although if he is even being in the remotely suggested being in the title picture, I guess we do want to see a bit more out of him. But no, I think he did a good job. He hit the points he needed to hit, and it leaves you wanting more. And to give a little dispersal again, or little question with the champ there leading off the show, hey, it worked out well for me.
My only problem with Roman Reigns being Cena's opponent at SummerSlam would be, to me, it seems like another Cena Ryback match. Because Reigns doesn't have that much of a moveset. He's got the Superman punch, he's got the spear, he does a Samoan drop sometimes, and that's it. And Ryback doesn't have much else beyond meat hook and shell shock. He's got a couple of tag team moves with Curtis Axel now, but that's it. The matches that we praise Cena for, when he really shines, it's against somebody like a CM Punk or a Daniel Bryan, somebody that does have a diverse moveset, somebody that Cena can really work with. And I don't see Reigns in that spot yet.
Or someone who like overpowers Cena. So the Brock Lesnar match that he had before. I mean that was a good match despite Brock Lesnar not really having a diverse moveset. He just punches a lot, and it really gave Cena that opportunity to play the underdog well. But I do get your point. I don't really see Roman Reigns taking that role as far as the Brock Lesnar style wrestling and beating Cena down, because Cena has to play the underdog at some point. Cena can't just control the entire match and have Roman Reigns basically play the underdog role. I don't think.
Yeah,
I mean,
it'd be different if Reigns was more of the overpowering monster that the WWE makes him out to be, but he's not in the same realm as Big Show or Brock Lesnar or Kane. He's kind of a big guy and he looks pretty fierce, but yeah, he's just not on that same level to make Cena shaking his boots.
Yeah, and for the most part, the way they have built Roman Reigns is he has played that underdog role, where he does get beat down, and it's him coming back and hitting that Superman punch or that spear out of nowhere. That's what gets the crowd into the match, at least it seems. So to have two guys that basically play that role, it would be rather off. But what about Seth Rollins? I mean, we saw Seth Rollins versus John Cena this week. That has a lot of potential to be a good match. Seth Rollins has a diverse moveset similar to a Daniel Bryan or a CM Punk. So what do you guys think about that as far as that headlining SummerSlam?
That could very well be a great match. We've been seeing a lot of Rollins lately, and it's all been good. We haven't seen. I don't think I've seen anything bad coming out of him. So
No, that would be an excellent match. I don't have a problem with it. I just question how likely it's going to be, since he's a heel with the Money in the Bank briefcase. I don't see him doing what Cena did and announcing when he was going to cash it in and sticking to that. I could see him cashing it in after the main event happens, but yeah, I don't know about him actually being the main event with Cena.
Okay.
could we see some weird angle where Cena's fighting him for the briefcase or something?
When he has the belt.
Yeah. Like, you don't deserve it, and I'm taking away this from the authority because they're corrupt. I don't know.
So Cena would have the titles and the briefcase.
And the briefcase.
In
Just
theory,
storming into the sandbox, scooping up all the toys, and walking back out with them.
Yeah, Joe, I just got a question. Are you trying to get the IWC to implode on their own?
partially. No, but I mean, then you do a tournament for it, another tournament for it, or you do another Money in the Bank match or something like that. I don't know.
Okay, no, let's pause there. So then the tournament would be for the briefcase.
No. Or
not for the title.
Interfering, beating up Cena. Match is over. Cena gets the win but via DQ. Then Rollins cashes in. I don't know. It's something crazy. It's crazy.
Can I be honest? I really kind of like the thought exercise of working through this one. It's kind of like one of those puzzles where they ask you like, well, you got a dog. Was it like you got a wolf, a sheep, and a goat, and you got to try and get the boat across the river, but the sheep eats the sheep eats the spider, and the dog eats the sheep, and so you got to move them. It's kind of like that. It's like it's like a logic puzzle.
So what you're saying is the Wyatt family gets involved here.
I'm just watching the live chat, hoping that there's a brain hemorrhage right in front of us.
That's what you want to do. You just want to kill the chat room. I'm just awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, so let's go back to the general rumor and opinion that we're going to get Brock Lesnar versus Cena at SummerSlam, and obviously we've got plenty of time to predict this. We've got our SummerSlam pre-show on Tuesday, August 12th, which is FTW episode 227. But say we do get Brock Lesnar versus Cena at SummerSlam for the title. Brock has to win, right? I mean, this is coming from Robert in the live chat. He says, if that match happens, Brock Lesnar must win, because if Brock loses, him breaking the streak becomes a waste. Do you guys agree with that?
Completely.
I wouldn't go that far. I think Lesnar would have to win, but to say that if he loses, the Undertaker streak goes to waste, I don't agree with that. Obviously, the streak is his own entity. Whatever Brock does after that, he can't hurt that. Now, I don't know what you do with Lesnar if he did lose, which it makes me lean more towards, if this match happens, Lesnar would win. Personally, I think that would lead to them building up Cesaro. Because obviously with Lesnar back, he becomes Heyman's top priority, and that's going to cause resentment with Cesaro. If Lesnar wins and becomes champion, that's only going to build that up exponentially. So, to me, that would kind of position Cesaro as making that push towards a top face. And I could think of worse things to do with Cesaro.
He could be the new Santino.
Moy's retired.
Cesaro is not retired.
Santino
is.
I know. He could be the new Santino.
Oh, I thought you said he could face Santino. I'm sorry.
No.
He could beat Santino.
You were doing your damnedest to hurt us physically, aren't you?
I said be.
I said beat. I'm sorry. Or else I was going to think you were having a stroke, and I was going to wonder what what replaced Joe and who are they on the show right now? Because they're not terrible, but the ideas that are coming out of this, this icon, this user profile we have on here is just some of the most insane things I've heard in a while.
All right, Lee,
I
turn on the
like it.
camera and show yourself.
It does.
Oh dear. All right. Well, again, we'll have plenty of time to talk about SummerSlam. That's next month. All right, so this is another conversation that I wish Lee was on for. But we joked about the possibility of El Torito, the Bull, getting a singles career in WWE, and the possibilities of like who he would face, and would that lead to like some kind of tertiary title that they would bring in for it or whatever. But we saw him finally get a singles match again. Well, let me take that back. I think this is maybe like his second or third. I think he did face against Drew McIntyre months ago, but this week we saw him against Bo Dallas, and I thought it was really entertaining. But now that Santino is gone, is there room for this? Is there room for an El Torito singles run?
Was there not room before Santino was gone? Because I don't think WWE thought so.
Okay, can I make the Joe joke now for everybody, and then we could just move on?
What's my joke?
Yeah.
That Torito isn't that big, so there's obviously room for him.
Oh.
No, I had no idea that was going to come out of my mouth. So.
That wasn't very funny, Joe.
See, Joe's
My
been
bad.
replaced. We've been replaced with Cyborg Joe. That's what's happening. It's in
Cyborg!
Detroit. Ladies and gentlemen,
Cyborg!
RoboCop is real. Joe's from Detroit. Skynet has taken over. Or no, Skynet is Terminator. Who was the evil corporation of RoboCop?
OCP.
See, bam, there it is. That was a test.
A pox on you and your children.
The one. At least you're not gonna hit on him like Lee did. That was so creepy.
That was creepy. So no, guys, this is a serious topic. El
It's Bo
Torito.
Dallas. This is how you know Bo Dallas isn't getting traction when his first real legitimate feud is against Torito.
What? He is getting total traction, and this isn't his first feud. I don't think it's
His first legit feud. It is. It's his first legitimate feud.
I don't think so.
Who did he have before this? Now
This
outside
is-
of NXT.
Hold on. Hold on.
That was legitimate.
No. Bo Dallas. We're talking about Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas, has not had a feud yet, but I don't think one match on Raw signifies this being a legit feud.
But that's what the question is that, it... Oh, okay, well, maybe
No,
I
the
misunderstood.
question
I
is-
misunderstood the
okay.
question.
Let me-
Okay, I
let
took
me
it
re-ask.
in a different direction.
Let me re-ask the question. El Torito, now that Santino's gone, is there room to give El Torito a serious singles career?
As opposed to take over, you mean to take over Santino's serious wrestling career? Absolutely. Why not? Can I lay on the sarcasm a little bit thicker there?
Jesus Christ, guys. All right, let's move on.
Dude, we're talking about El Torito. What do you... Absolutely. You know what? He should be the one that takes on John Cena for the briefcase and the belts when they have that tournament.
Who's Joe now?
Okay, well, let's move on from that. Let's talk about Damian Sandhart. Actually, pretty entertaining. Do you guys agree?
Incredibly. I thought, Damian Sandow's been put in these stupid roles where he's playing a different character every week. Last time we saw, one of the few times we've seen this happen, Charlie Haas did it.
Charlie Haas.
Yep.
Big Show did it.
Big Show, right?
Mhm.
If a guy can tolerate doing that and make it his own, somehow make it his own, I think, he gets a better look from Vince because he put up with Vince's shit to do the stupid bullshit. And it's come out in several interviews that wrestlers have done that, yes, this kind of shit is always Vince's idea because Vince thinks it's funny. Doesn't matter who else thinks it's funny or if anybody thinks it's funny. Vince thinks it's funny, so it's going to happen. Like 3MB, for example.
I thought that was funny.
That was awesome. But hearing Drew McIntyre talk about it is very interesting. So it's worth a listen. But I think Damian Sandow made that his own. It's just a shame that he had to deal with Sheamus afterwards.
Yes.
But I think he faced off well against Bret Hart. I think he's got better mic work than Bret Hart ever has in recent history. Because what has Bret got? I can punch you.
Yeah. They said Bret Hart was known for punching. And I don't think I would agree with that. I don't think Bret Hart was known for punching at all.
No, but that's all he can do now.
Well, true.
Legally, so that's what he's doing. That's what we're working with here.
Yeah, so I think overall we've been pretty negative about what's been happening with Damian Sandow, but I agree with you. I think we finally turned a corner where it has become entertaining now, and it seems like he is getting into the role and doing well. Sure, we would have liked to see how they would have progressed the story of him going against the Authority and against this booking, but instead we're still going to get this style of booking, and that's okay. I think going up against a guy like Bret Hart was fine. It was entertaining. It was topical, and it obviously was over with the crowd, specifically because Bret Hart was there. So, I think there definitely is legs with this, and I surely hope that they don't continue it for too much longer. But I think he's succeeding.
Yeah, I don't really think there's any corner being turned because I don't remember anybody saying that Sandow was doing poorly with this. Like, I know for me at least, my problem has always been the fact that he's been this role to begin with, not how he's handling it. Because Sandow has always been entertaining. When he was Paul Revere and he yelled out, "The elbow is coming, the elbow is coming," that was genius. And he's had moments like that all throughout this horrendous shtick. It's just the role that he's in that I've always taken issue with. And like you said, I hope he's not in it for too much longer. I hope Vince gets his jollies and decides to give him something else.
You know what would be funny is that if it wasn't Vince, but it actually was Damian that wanted to do this. Because to be honest, it looks like he's having fun and he's making it work. But at the same time, he's kind of like got that. I can't really think of anybody I can compare it to, but he's kind of one of those people that I feel like with Damian Sandow, you could probably throw him into any situation and he'll be decent in it. At least decent, if not pretty good. In any situation or feud.
The whole thing just reminds me of like 3MB, and I'm so bummed that we no longer have 3MB. Especially because not only did we lose 3MB, but we also lost the Union Jacks.
Yeah, man.
They were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I would totally go in for a Damian Sandow and Heath Slater tag team now.
Ooh. I dig.
That actually would be pretty good.
Yeah, I would be into that. So, okay, real quick, before we move on, you guys have 30 seconds apiece. Will we ever see a cash-in, and this is Money in the Bank cash-in, will we ever see a Money in the Bank cash-in that is not for the top title? So say for the IC or the US or even a tag team championship spot. What do you guys think? Nick?
Yes, if they ever start treating those titles like they actually mean something. So, I guess my answer would be no.
See, I think we will. I think we will see a tag team one at some point. And the only other time we could possibly see it is like in a storyline where, let's say, Dean Ambrose is going after Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has like the Intercontinental title, and he's just doing it to one up the guy who fucked him over. Yada yada yada. But outside of that, no.
Harrison?
Because there's only one of them, no.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I think there would be potential there, but I think there would always be a group of fans that while some of us would love the idea to see the IC being treated so so highly to get a Money in the Bank shot against. At the same time, it would almost feel like a missed opportunity for whoever did cash that in, especially for a tag team championship. Like if it's just a tag team championship, I think that would be a bum, or that would be a bummer. But like IC, I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, definitely if there was 2 Money in the Bank championship matches, that way we would still have the top title involved. So okay, next week, episode 223. We're going to be previewing WWE Battleground, so that's Tuesday, July 15th. Mark your calendars. Definitely hop into that live chat. I think we're going to try to get Scott Viper on again. Right now, we've got 2 official matches. We have the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be on the line. John Cena versus Orton, Kane, and Roman Reigns. We also have the IC Battle Royal. Cesaro, Sheamus, Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, Bo Dallas, Kofi Kingston, Damian Sandow, Big E, Curtis Axel, Alberto Del Rio, Fandango, the Great Khali, and RVD. Though they have all entered officially. Yeah, that would be
the favorite.
Yeah, that's true. Khali is the favorite. We've also got some other possibilities. Obviously, Ambrose versus Rollins, Jericho versus The Miz, or Jericho versus Bray Wyatt. Dolph and Summer Rae tag teaming against Fandango and Layla, especially after last week and this week. This week with Fandango on commentary. Divas Championship, AJ Lee versus Paige, but you could also throw in the Funkadactyls match as well. So potentially three Divas matches on a pay-per-view. I think that'd be first time ever.
Big Diva Palooza.
Yeah. And then also, once again, previewing WWE SummerSlam on Tuesday, August 12th, FTW227. So, some cool stuff ahead. Let's jump into Ask FTW. You can send in questions to Ask FTW using the hashtag on Twitter, AskFTW. You can also send emails, questions at ftwpodcast.com. Post them on the Facebook wall or in the Facebook group. Leave a comment on the YouTube. And, yeah, you guys know how to get a hold of us, so keep sending those in. We've got one from Benjamin Megenberg. He asked, would it have been better to introduce the Usos as individuals at first rather than a tag team? The stigma of being a brother tag team is going to be hard to get away from, like it has been for the Briscoes, in ROH, the Hardys, even the Dudley Boys. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that they should have introduced those guys as a tag team first? Or, I'm sorry, as individuals first? Harrison?
Not.
No. Joe, I'm conceding the floor to Joe.
Not at all. If you want to build a legitimate tag team, you want to help the tag team division, you fucking bring in a tag team. You don't bring in 2 individual guys and slap them together. The Usos had instant credibility. I mean, they're the Usos. They are a team. They are together. They are brothers. Like, there's a bond. That's a bond we're going to follow in the tag team division. It needed to be done.
Harrison?
I would say no, except for now they're kind of embracing their style a little bit. I mean, now that they're doing the Taka before the match, I'm starting to get a really big fan of that. But yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say whether or not it would have been better if they were individuals versus a tag team. But for me, they're working. The crowd's getting behind them. The tag division isn't as anemic as it once was. They're going up against a legitimate tag team as well in the Wyatts, so there's something to be said there. And the crowd's getting behind them. They like them. They got great energy in the ring. They're fun to watch. I think it really helps for them. And I almost feel like they're like like if the Attitude Era had I guess the Hardy Boys to really define that type or that style of tag team wrestling. I'd say the Usos are very much defining this current era of tag team wrestling, which is family friendly, getting the kids involved, lots of fun, crowd interaction, that type of thing. And
Which is why they're brothers.
Then that too, yes.
Family fun.
Yeah, family fun, yeah.
Nick? Okay. I think Nick is gone.
No, I got muted for some reason. But yeah, I don't think it would have been a good idea to introduce them as singles wrestlers. The only scenario I could see that working would be if they did something like the Bellas did at first with the Twin Magic thing, but by the time the Usos came in, the Bellas were already doing that, I think. So, I mean, that gimmick was taken. I don't see any way that would have benefited them. Because, I mean, unlike the Briscoes, where Jay and Mark are actually two different people, Mark has that whole redneck kung fu thing, and he looks different on top of that. The Usos, on the other hand, you have to be told at first in order to tell them apart. Like, one has a tattoo on the chest and one doesn't. Aside from that, there's a little bit of difference in the levels of their voices, but I mean, you have to really be paying attention to notice that. I think a better comparison for an indie tag team would have been the Young Bucks, because I mean they're not twins, but they look enough alike that you kind of have a hard time telling them apart. But even with that comparison, I mean, look at how well the Young Bucks are doing right now. They never really did anything as singles competitors. Nothing they did really took off. So I mean, if you've got a hard time establishing a difference between the two, I don't think it pays off to introduce them as singles wrestlers. They're doing fine as a tag team. I think that's how they would have achieved the best success under any circumstance.
Yeah, we're getting some notes in the live chat as well. You know, as far as the Usos go, as far as you know, it's hard to see either of them being in singles competition, like as far as being up in that top level that we have seen before. I mean, it's being talked about in the live chat. The Briscoes, the Hardys, Team 3D. You can say the same thing about Edge and Christian. Despite them all coming in as a tag team, they all had that opportunity at top level titles. So, and they all did pretty well as singles competitors. You look at Matt Hardy. He was the ECW champion. He had some pretty great feuds in WWE as a singles guy. Plus, he was the ROH champion. Team 3D. You've seen what has happened with Bully Ray over the last couple of years. Devon looked really good in singles action as well. Edge obviously was phenomenal, a Hall of Famer as a singles guy. Christian also got that opportunity. So to say that Jay and Jimmy won't ever get that opportunity, you know, it's just a matter of time. If WWE gives them the opportunity, it's most likely they could.
Look at the teams that are being brought up, though. The Hardy Boys, Team 3D. Those teams, each individual member of that team has their own identity. The Usos never had that. And I don't think you could really give it to them if you've got them both working at the same point, because they are twins.
The Rock, Shawn Michaels, and Marty Jannetty. They were pretty much the same guy up until a super kick.
If you can tell a physical difference between them, you can't really compare them to the Usos.
No, you're right, Nick. I mean, you can't really tell the difference between the two. But, you know, little change of clothing, change of a haircut, you've got a difference there.
Sure, and obviously, if only one of them was in wrestling and the other wasn't, then obviously they probably could go pretty far as singles competitors. It's just if you got both of them in the company at the same time, like the Briscoe brothers in ROH, then I mean.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next question. This one comes from me, because that's what I do. This is something we talked about at the very beginning. You guys have had an hour and a half to formulate some kind of idea of how you want to respond. We are past the halfway point of 2014. So, in your mind, what has happened so far that stands as your moment of the year? Both, and we're talking specifically WWE and/or TNA. So, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, Harrison.
All right, Harrison.
Legitimately, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first there, Joe?
Go ahead. Nope, Garvin's going to be that kind of dick.
All right, fine. My moment of 2014 is, well, it's a series of moments. I'm actually going to bend the rules a little bit and say it's a feud. It's Wyatt versus Cena. If I have to pick a moment out of those two, it would be WrestleMania 30, that match between them. That was a feud that was probably my favorite feud probably for the past couple of years, and it's because there were so many layers to it. These two guys, you had Wyatt, who was essentially not really untested, but he was kind of catapulted in the main event pretty quickly, and he held his own with John Cena playing counterpart. And the thing I love about it most is that the fact of the matter was John Cena had so much angst directed at him from the fans chanting Cena sucks, and Wyatt gave them a voice. And I think for that reason, all of those people instantly became huge marks for Wyatt, and it helped catapult his career. And I can't think of anybody else I can really think of that could play that so well without getting swallowed up into the Cena mythos, so to speak, because he's such a huge character in WWE. So for me, I only hope that they're going to go back and pick this feud up and keep going back to it maybe 2 or 3 more times, because these two were amazing together. And it upsets me that the only thing that I think can really slow it down is when Cena inevitably retires. So 2014, this feud, and specifically that match at WrestleMania, definitely, so far, 2014, it's the moment.
Okay. So can I go, or are we going to put Nick in front of me and then Garvin in front of me too? No? Okay. This one isn't exactly a best moment of the year, but it's a best possible scenario given. Daniel Bryan's neck injury. It sucks that it happened, but look at what we're getting right now. I mean, we had the rise of Daniel Bryan, which was awesome. That started last year, so we're not going to qualify for this year. Well, I guess we could because he won at WrestleMania, but now we're getting the rise of Roman Reigns, it seems to be, to the main event. He's in the main event at a pay-per-view.
Battleground.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view. And I like the fact that we're seeing more talent, more younger talent being elevated. It's a guy who's got a lot of potential, and I like the fact that they're going to try and use him in the main event. He may not stick around there for very long. They might want to do other stuff with him, but at least they're giving it a shot, and I like that. You know, it's another young guy getting into that realm, and they can test him now and determine if they're going to be able to use him in that area in the future, because look at the other guys in the main event. You got John Cena, who is becoming more injury prone. He's not going to be in the ring forever. Randy Orton, hello shoulders. I mean, who the fuck? Kane's the other one in the match, right? The Battleground?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know Kane's not going to be around forever. He's nearing the end of his career. You got to get guys in that picture, and believably in that picture. As long as it's not fucking Sheamus, I think we're going to be okay.
Nick?
My standout moment of the year, it's not a match or feud, it's more of a business decision, and that's on TNA. Their decision to put Bound for Glory in Japan this year. That says a lot to me about what TNA is willing to do to try and get to that next level, to try and be taken seriously by wrestling fans, I guess. Japan is largely an untapped market as far as American mainstream wrestling goes. And the fact that the WWE has never gone to any length to try to change that in the 50-plus years it's been in existence, it's kind of hard to understand, because you look at products like New Japan, All Japan, the dozens of other promotions that are over there, and you can see the Japanese wrestling market is it's not huge, but it's lively. And if you've got fans over there, they're essentially fans for life, unless you do something so incredibly heinous to turn them away. TNA establishing its biggest pay-per-view of the year in that market, I think it can only pay off for them, unless they do something so incredibly stupid to screw that up. You'd have to do a lot to make that happen, and I don't think TNA could do that. I think TNA is going to make that happen and make it work for them.
It's definitely a risk for sure.
Yeah, I mean, going overseas at all is a risk to some degree.
Yeah, who knows if you're going to get the ability to come back.
All right, so let's look at what's being talked about in live chat. We've got Shield versus Wyatt's at Elimination Chamber. We also have Jack Swagger turning face exactly the way that Diva Jill called it. Fans fighting for Daniel Bryan, Eric Young winning the TNA World Championship, and the end of the streak. Those are all top moments, and really, I'm just looking at the list that I had come up with is basically the same thing. Streak broken, Daniel Bryan's WrestleMania moment, the Shield breakup. That was a big moment as well. I think for me though the moment of the year, just because it seems it showed that the WWE is actually listening to their audience and how we're reacting to different things, and they are embracing the fact that so many of us are behind the Wyatt family and giving the Wyatt family more mic time and really showing that we're all standing there with our camera phones like lighters in the darkness for Bray Wyatt. I think it's nice to see WWE embrace a reaction like that instead of fight it like it seemed like they were doing with Daniel Bryan or even CM Punk at a certain point. So that is good to see. As far as on the TNA side, to me, nothing really major has happened. I mean, sure, we got the announcement that Six-Sided Ring's coming back. That's kind of cool, but that's going to pay off and be a big moment when we see it and see how it impacts, the product. Nick, as far as the whole Japan deal with Bound for Glory, I'm not willing to call that the moment of the year until we see how it looks and just look at that show in general. I think TNA in a lot of ways has so much room to improve this year. I think most of it's been kind of middle of the road for the most part, but EY winning the title for sure was my moment of the year for them. That was good to see.
I think TNA's deal with not having as many choices for moments of the year is it's not a question of quality, or at least not directly. It's the same problem they have with regular TV as opposed to pay-per-views and trying to differentiate between them. They don't. They put on pay-per-view caliber matches every night, and that does kind of have an end result of things kind of blur together. You don't really get those standout moments like that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for the most part, I have been generally entertained by TNA. I think TNA has done some good things, but there's nothing that sets one thing apart from another, except for the EY. That's the only thing to me that stands up is that EY finally got that opportunity, and the fans were totally behind it, and he got the title, and that was cool. It was a good moment. So, okay. Ship and win fail. Joe, your win of the week.
That would have to be Rhodes Dust. The tag team of Gold Dust and Stardust is entertaining, and Cody Rhodes is owning this persona. It's like he looked at his brother and said, "I know you're popular for doing this gimmick, but I am totally going to one-up you. Let's make it a challenge." It's entertaining. So that's my win of the week.
Nick.
It's Gail Kim winning the Knockouts title, hands down. It's absolutely deserved. Gail Kim is arguably the best female wrestler in TNA, if not mainstream TV wrestling right now.
Harrison?
Wait, Nick, I'm sorry. Did you say best female wrestler or best wrestler?
Best female wrestler.
Gail Kim. Oh, okay. All right. My win is you're goddamn right, Cena sucks when I'm in the building. That was awesome. That really set up Roman Reigns. It really changed his promo. It really brought the Cena Roman Reigns feud to the next level, because when they actually had that backstage showdown, it was like holy legit, this is gonna be awesome, you know? So yeah, I think if a feud really does develop between those two, it'd be great. Doesn't seem like it's really gonna be a feud so much as it's gonna be like a contentious rivalry or contentious friendship, I should say. But hands down, that was an awesome way to get that crowd just fired up right off the bat.
All right, wins from the live chat. We've got the Roman Reigns promo, TNA Impact. Oh, the news. We didn't even talk about it. Renee Young was announced that she was joining the Superstars announce team. So she went from NXT announce team to Superstars announce team, which means hopefully next week on Raw she'll be replacing the entire commentary team.
Hi, I'm Renee Young, and I'm going to be your part, and I'm basically going to announce the entire time. You know what? I'm fine with that. JBL is getting senile, and King is just not even paying attention anymore. I mean, he's just repeating what everybody's saying.
Yeah.
It only gets interesting when Cole screws up, and then then JBL, you can tell, kind of ribs him a bit, and that's when it gets kind of funny. Otherwise, they're terrible.
Yeah, I do appreciate the out of character jabs that they make to one another. Like when Cole says something like ridiculous because he can't think of what he is supposed to be saying, and they totally call him on it.
Yeah.
Like I think it was the facelift surgeon.
Yeah, the facelift surgeon. And Jimmy was like, wait, what? You know, the plan when you have to get a facelift with the surgeon. And he's like, what? And it's always JBL that calls him out on it. Like, JBL is completely fine with pausing Raw to just address what it was that Cole just said. That is when things are good. But my thing was, that's why I was like Cole and Matt Stryker, because they did that to each other really well, but they were able to do it, I don't know, they had a really good rapport. So it didn't feel like everything came to a screeching halt, and that was the only time when they were entertaining.
JBL is just doing it to give him shit and make it about him.
Yeah, JBL's just doing it because, just to give him shit. But Stryker, when they would do it to each other, it was always, you felt like it was like two buddies watching wrestling as opposed to, I guess that's probably why they didn't really team them up.
All right, and my win of the week is going to go to the fact that despite me not being totally into the story, they are giving Dolph Ziggler a story. So he is involved in some capacity with an ongoing thing, an ongoing feud, and that's good to see because we really haven't seen a feud for Dolph Ziggler in so long. So hopefully that means good things to come. And it's also two guys who were on the way to an awesome push, but lost it because of concussion. So we'll see who is the best formerly concussed guy. Fails of the week. Joe, your fail of the week?
Sheamus. Just spinning his wheels, being Sheamus. Picking on guys.
Be a star.
Yeah, be a star, Sheamus, and be the good guy who just picks on other people, fella. Don't care, don't like you, go away. America.
Nick?
I thought Brittany's lead-in promo on Impact this week was pretty weak. It's almost like somebody hit the slow-mo button on on her spiel is it took so long to get everything out to lead into that heel turn. I like the angle it's leading into. I like the idea of Brittany turning on who she thought was her mentor and best friend. I like that. It's just, it was such a ham-fisted way to go about it. And I guess I have a second fail. I'm not sure who exactly it applies to. It's either me or everyone else for thinking that I said Japan's only been around for 50 years. I'm not sure.
We go back
I'm not sure what the
go back and listen to the
disconnect
audio. It sounded like
It kind of did. It kind of sounded like you said Japan was only around for 50 years.
is. To clarify, I was talking about the WWE over the course of 50 years not taking advantage of the Japanese wrestling market, but I don't know, somewhere along the line there was some kind of disconnect.
Look, I'm not saying you did or didn't. I'm just saying it kind of sounded like you did.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who the fail applies to, so I'm just going to spread it around
So-
equally.
So if you're a listener and want to find out where the fail is, make sure to check our YouTube channel or download the podcast at ftwpodcast.com and let us know if you think Nick said it or if we're overreacting.
Give us your feedback on who you thought fucked up.
Yeah. It's
It was
really,
Wikipedia. It was Wikipedia for sure.
it's a whole show of fun. Bonus points if you can also get it, make a reasonable argument for Lee being the one who thought it.
Yes.
But you have to explain your logic on that one. It just can't be like Lee because he's British, because that doesn't fly. You actually have to figure out,
So-
who done it.
So no because reasons?
Yep.
Okay.
I get all
Yeah.
of my wrestling information from Wrestling News Source, so I blame it on them.
Oh, well then.
Hey,
Geography.
dude, spoilers. You shouldn't have said that out loud. Because that's what everyone can use. Harrison, your fails?
Not anymore.
It
It is now disqualified from being used.
Oh, okay. Good.
but I guess
That's a
I'll do
good
my
one,
fail,
though.
right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. No, I just, because you've been walking over Joe all night, so I was wondering by throwing me out
You've
there.
been canceled, Harrison.
Yes, that's what I was wondering. Is this the rise of Joe? Is this now when the robots turn and we have to worry that now death walks the streets because Joe has left his Detroit cocoon and is now coming down here to the land of palm trees and sunshine and is going to take me out?
No, you at least have some safety time. Garvin's got about 2 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks.
That's an alarmingly specific deadline. Okay.
I guess it gives me like the end of
July
the
19th.
Mine is I wonder who Jericho's going to feud with next week. I liked him versus The Miz, him versus Bray, not a big fan. So I'm curious to see who he's going to have to go up against next week because it's just like every week it's something different.
Has it been, though?
Yeah, last week was Miz, this week was Bray, and so now it's going to be, hey, this will be fun. I wonder who he's going to go up against next week.
Well, last week he interrupted Miz, but then got attacked by Bray.
I
Yeah, the
liked
Wyatt
him
beat the
versus
shit out of him.
Miz. Yeah, but I liked him versus Miz. When they had that and they were going, like, before the Wyatts got involved, I liked that. And I was
Why-
like, oh, Miz debuts a new character, somewhat decent character, something that might have some legs to it. Jericho would be the perfect foil to then elevate him to the next level because Jericho's really good at doing that kind of thing. Now we're going to get Bray Wyatt, who I've already admitted has had my 2014 moment of the year. So, I don't know, I feel like it's, I don't want to say a waste, but
I mean, you could always work in No Job Rob.
yeah, that'll fix it.
Jericho versus No Job Rob? Yeah, sure. Push two old guys off in the corner and let them.
No. No.
That was a joke, Garvin. He was joking. You were
No,
joking,
I don't.
right, Nick?
I don't like it. It's gonna happen, and I'm gonna hate it.
I just can't wait to be in the room when you go, when you think Rob Van Dam won, you're like, damn, no job, Rob.
I was legit pissed.
He was, and you were legit drunk too. That's even better.
All right, fails from the live chat. Let's see. Cameron fails with Cameron. Sheamus. No Dinosaur Lee predictions, and
Oh, really?
although we're not doing
Can't be here all
predictions
the
yet.
time.
Yeah, and we're also not doing predictions this week. We're doing predictions next week. So, but there is a fail in here that is going to echo my fail, and so my fail, which is shared, is WWE's handling with whatever the hell happened with Emma. So Emma gets arrested, and within 48 hours she was fired. And then within 2 hours, she was reinstated because WWE actually looked at what happened. It's just so odd. Just the timeline is so weird. And it was for a $20 iPod case. It's not a big deal. Especially because it was an accident.
Yeah,
You know?
and a $20 iPod case won't go protect you from shit.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think overall WWE gets a fail for just mishandling. I think they could have definitely done that better, for obvious reasons. Everything that's happened with Jack Swagger and Cameron and whoever else who has run into the law or something over the last 2 years, this is a little speck of dust in the corner of everything else that has happened. So. I don't know.
All we are is dust in the wind, dude.
Yep. Final thoughts. You guys have any final thoughts?
No.
Nope.
Okay. And that's the show. You can go check out FTWpodcast.com for more information about us and how to get involved in the future. And join us live each and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on FTWlive.com. For myself, Joe, Nick, Harrison, and everyone in the live chat, we will see you next Tuesday. Goodbye. Also, Germany is a bunch of hackers.
What are you talking about? They destroyed Brazil. That was awesome.
Hackers!